decided, you know what, let's establish ourselves as what some people will call a normal family. Let me get used to this whole public school thing.
Right.
And then once I feel like we are solidified in our foundation, then I will tell you. So I told her when she was 13. And she was like, you know, she knew it. She remembers calling him daddy. Everybody was telling her to call him grandpa, but she remembers all of that. And then she remembered witnessing him beating me. So it was tough. It was emotional. At the same time, it was cathartic. It was liberating. My younger children, I did not tell until actually after their sister that passed away. And that was just because there was a lot of things going on in our family with my sisters, with my mom, that raised so many questions. I didn't feel that they were ready at the time that I told them, but so many other things were just coming out because of the death of my daughter. Right. That I was like, you know what? Obviously, I may not be ready for this, but apparently, you know, God is saying that they're ready. So I told them then. Their response was, my second daughter, she was very emotional. She expressed her understanding that, you know, so wait, mommy, your daddy raped you. You know, she understood that, and that hurt her. My son, who I think he was 10 at the time, he did not really say much about it. But I am a very open and communicative person with my children, and we've had just open conversation. We've talked about it. We've joked about it. The idea that we are also brothers and sisters, as well as, you know, mom and child. And I think that open conversation really just helps in them being able to process everything that has happened to us in general.
What are the ages of your children now?
Right now, my oldest is 26. And my second daughter is 22. My son will be 21 in November. As I said, the daughter that passed away, she would be 18. I think she would have turned 18 earlier this year. And then I did eventually get married. So I have a youngest son, and he'll be 13.
Okay.
He is born on your birthday.
On December 12th. Okay.
Yes.
So now you have 3 grown adults that live in your house with you.
Is in college.
How your story, a lot of people who's watching this right now probably never heard of your story. There's probably a very small percentage of people that have heard your story. It's been on ID channel. It's you wrote a book about it. Right. And I learned it actually from you when you came to interview me. It's so funny that I'm interviewing you now, right? So I learned about that story, and I always wanted to have that conversation with you, but I also didn't know how to tell you that I want to have that conversation, because that's a very touchy subject, right? So now that you have 3 adults living with you, or, you know, carrying on with their lives, knowing that their grandfather is their father, my mother is also like my sister, you know, how does that affect them? Or does it affect them in a way where society seems different to them, or they're fitting in with society, or, you know, stuff like that?
I think it made for very open people. They are open in general with their beliefs. They're very open-minded about society, our experience as Black people in America. I mean, it helps that their mother teaches them those things from a young age, but they don't give a crap about what anyone else thinks. That's their attitude. And I think that
which they shouldn't.
Go ahead.
Which they shouldn't, because, I mean, at the end of the day, this is not something that they had control over.
Right. But even on other subjects, even on other topics, a lot of young people are so concerned with how their peers see them and how they look at them. And, you know, as people, of course, they have some of that, but They will tell you, like, look, I will wear what I want to wear. I'll do my hair how I want to do it. I won't wear makeup. I will wear makeup. Like, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. And I think that our life has contributed to that.
Right.
As far as challenges, yes, there are challenges. My 22-year-old, she has a genetic disorder that is actually very rare in Black people. It's called phenylketonuria. She cannot eat any proteins. She cannot metabolize certain amino acids. So she's on a special diet for life.
Is that a genetic disease? Like
Yes,
the fact
it
that
is
the same
genetic.
genes, right?
It is genetic. So it's mostly found in Caucasian people. It comes from the Irish and Scottish bloodline. And I have ancestors that are Scottish, I believe. Yeah, Scottish and Irish, actually. So because of the fact that a child was made from two close family members, then our chances of producing a child with this genetic disorder was higher. So the thing about incest, it doesn't really work in the way where like a child will have like 11 fingers or two heads or anything like that. It just tends to bring genetic disorders that a lot of people could possibly have. It increases the chances of a child coming out with that genetic disorder. So she has that. And at the time we discovered it, there was only one other Black family in the whole of New Jersey that had this condition. So that affects her, having, even when she was in school, kids teasing her about her having to drink a special formula or eat special food, things like that. My son, I believe that, like so many other Black men, he has his challenges with his identity as a Black man in America, establishing himself. He's extremely talented. Sometimes he questions my authority. Sometimes he talks to me like I'm his sister and not his mother.
Well, I mean, technically you are his sister too, though.
Right. I mean, it is. And I am very open and honest with them. And I'm like, look, I'm your mother first. I'm your mother first. So, but I can't necessarily say that's any different from any other mothers out there trying to raise Black men, especially if they're single mothers. So I wouldn't say that that's particularly unique. As far as the topic of his father, of our father, it's not necessarily something he wants to really talk about. He doesn't like the idea of imagining, his mom being raped by our father. Of
course not. Of course.
Right. But at the same time, one day he calls me up and he's like, yo, mommy, can we, where's Damien at? We call him Damien. For, the son of Satan. We call him
That's your dad?
Yeah, the son says, he's like, where Damien at in jail? What jail is it? Me and my friends going to roll up there. And I'm like, oh, gosh.
I mean, you got to expect that, though. You got to expect that.
Yeah, no, I do. I totally expect it. But can I predict it, when it's going to happen? That's a little tougher.
Right.
That's a little tougher. So, but we have like I said, he goes to William-Paterson University. He's studying communications. He's very intelligent. He dances, he models, he does all, he's very outgoing. Nice. And then my youngest child, for my ex-husband, now he teaches kids about child abuse and, tell your parents if you don't feel like you should be touched right, so he's very involved in the organization. He's very involved in Precious Little Ladies. And I think that obviously because of what I do and because he grew up in me speaking out against issues that affect women and children, he just picked that up and, he runs with it. So.
Right. My next question for you is, what is your relationship like with your mom now?
Ooh. So, I'm sure you can imagine we've been through many ups and downs.